my
This
coffee
conference
first,
will now be
and then I
recorded.
was like, okay, wait, let me like reheat some of my croissants in the oven.
Alright. Well, good morning, y'all. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another virtual coffee with the Bluecoats. Today we have two very special guests, our very own Amanda and Daviana. And they're candidates running for the executive ticket in our next Student Government Association. So I'll let you guys take the floor from there.
Hi, everyone. I am Daviana Phillips, and I will be running for president for SGA. Hi.
I am Amanda Daniels, and I will be running with Daviana as her vice president for SGA.
Love it. I mean, is there any like big things that you guys really want to like discuss moving forward? Like, are there any? Olivia wants to ask, why did you join SGA?
Why did we join SGA, you said?
Yeah.
Well, for me, I joined SGA because I really want to be a part of the student body organization. You know, our school is pretty small, so the morale of the school isn't as, we don't have a morale per se. So if I can place myself in that position to at least get us to interact more as students and have a better family presence, that would be great. So that's one of the reasons I joined SGA.
And I joined SGA because I just wanted to be a part of the student body government. I like politics, and I like to see change happen, especially when there are people who don't necessarily like certain things going on with the university that could be changed through SGA. So I wanted to get my foot in the door and see what SGA was about, see how our SGA was ran, and in hopes to make changes in the future.
So Daviana, you mentioned that you want to like boost our morale as a school. How do you think moving forward do you plan on doing that?
Well, for me, I feel we should have more events at the campus. I know that our campus is unique and our school is unique when it comes to upper level. So a lot of our student age groups are a lot older, but maybe we can implement like families coming to the campus to see what the campus is about, you know, like once a month, throw like a little barbecue or something, you know, get to know your fellow students that are at the school. There's so many opportunities throughout school, but a lot of students, we don't interact with each other, so we wouldn't really know. So trying to get a different aspect of different things to start like coming together, more so fun things. So I think that would be great.
Cool. I'm trying to think of what other things that I can ask y'all. I feel like, you know, whenever they have the preliminaries, how I have like those people on the very like fancy news desk that are asking questions. I'm like, oh.
Well, if you don't mind,
Go ahead.
You go ahead. I have a whole bunch.
Okay. Well, my one question is, you know, we are living in different times. So the way everything's kind of shifted is it's a whole new way to interact, and doing things like this are probably going to be, you know, the normal for a little bit. How are you going to engage the student body, and what initiatives would you like to see implemented, either, you know, at a staff level or at a even a student level, that you think can promote more of like that campus community?
Of course, like you stated, Carla, right now it's very hectic times, and it's gonna take some processing because we're just starting this COVID-19 thing that's going on. The best thing we can do right now is social media, And social media, believe it or not, it has been a really big presence. I think that we should put out like different challenges to get the students pumped to be a part of, like, okay, this week we have this challenge, and we'll post them on the Facebook page, like, hey, so-and-so won this challenge, see what else Texas A&M is doing. It might even go viral enough where we can introduce other schools to do it, and I think that will build like a big, like I said, it will build morale, because me as a student now, I'm going to be like, okay, next week they're having this competition, I have to win, and we can just implement different awards and stuff like that. What do you think, Amanda?
I think with that, that's a great idea. And we could also just ask for feedback and ask, hey, what do y'all want to see from us? What will help y'all be more engaged? What kind of challenges do you want to participate in? So I think with the social media engagement and asking for feedback from the student body would be key in this time with being quarantined and all virtual at this point.
And we do have another question in the chat from Olivia. So how are you going to be sure that the students' voice is heard on issues such as tutoring hours and student fees, and employees using the university's electricity to charge their vehicle that they do not pay for?
Can you repeat the question? You were breaking up.
It's in the chat box. So
It's over there.
if I'm breaking up, you should be able to see it in the little looks like a little voice box webcon. But I'll go ahead and read it again just in case. So how are you going to be sure that the student's voice is heard on issues such as tutoring hours and student fees, and employees using the university's electricity to charge their vehicle that they do not pay for?
Okay. For me, before I decided to run for president, I did meet with the president of the university. So when it comes to student issues, when we have these SGA meetings and you bring up those issues bi-weekly, that Friday, once you bring up your issue, that Monday, I'll be meeting with the president to start to implement different things that we can resolve. I will ask that you give me time, but I will definitely give feedback and work diligently to, at least if I can change a problem, I will change a problem. If I cannot change a problem, I will search for all resources that can either help make the situation a little better, or I'll tell you I can't accomplish the mission. So for me, I'm all for the students, and if I can make it happen, I will make it happen, especially when it comes to tutoring and the student fees. Once again, these are meetings that I will have with the president of the university, and then I will give feedback. So you're more than likely to get a feedback every week of what are the issues and concerns once I bring it up.
And then I guess, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Amanda?
There's another question about how you would change, or what would you change about SGA to make it more appealing to students? The biggest thing at this point is the meeting times. A lot of students have voiced their concerns on wanting to make it to the SGA meetings, but not being able to make it to the SGA meetings because it is held at 5 p.m. on Fridays. So that is one thing that we have talked about, is hopefully moving the meeting time earlier in the day. That's one thing.
We're also thinking about, even if we do move it to earlier on in the day, probably around like 11 a.m., and even have like finger food there. The plan is to have the meeting start around 10:45. We have a 15-minute of social hour. You can eat, everybody has time to come in, and then the meeting will officially start at 11. and it won't end until 12, but we're not trying to go over that meeting time. So we're going to try to stay concise and straight to the point, and run it that way.
Honestly, that sounds great. I'm already
Yeah.
more excited already.
I will step in real quick though and say that as long as I work for A&M Central Texas, there will never be food in SGA meetings.
Oh,
Overruled, because people don't know how to chew with their mouths closed.
Oh my goodness.
well,
I like the rest of what you just said.
With that being said, I think besides food, just make it more I don't want to say presentable, but I kind of do want to say presentable, because I feel like a lot of people have this idea that SGA is not fun. SGA causes more work, but it really doesn't. And it is fun, and it's a way to get your voice heard. So I think to make it more appealing is to make students realize how fun it is to be a part of SGA and to be a part of a bigger organization, rather than just coming to school, doing classes, and going home.
I remember the first SGA meeting that I attended, like in person, and if I didn't have like the group of friends that I had coming in there, the air just felt really tense. So I can only imagine for like a student who wanted to like see what SGA was about, coming into that environment with like negative vibes. I feel like that's such a hippie thing to say, but you know what I mean? Like this it feels like it like heavy almost. So I think making SGA into a more positive environment that's more like accepting. In my opinion, this is like coming from me in my first experience. I don't know if this is like this for everybody else, but yeah, I think that would be a really good change to implement.
Yeah, I agree. I remember walking in with you guys and like we had just like been out, and then it was like a huge shift in like I guess atmosphere.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I have never been to any of the SGA functions, but around campus, I have a tendency to take all of my classes in face-to-face. So I see a lot of people around campus, but I only knew of 2 people that were actively involved in SGA, and those 2 people didn't really present it to me personally as, I'm the SGA, you should come out to our meetings. We have a lot of fun. We talk about things that are going on campus and stuff like that. We, get together as students and we all congregate and just have some fun together. It was never presented to me in that way. So for me, I think it's right now at this point, with all the people that I've dealt with, I didn't even know really, Amanda, that you were in SGA, and I've barely even had any contact at all with you, Daviana. And part of that is me because I don't socialize that much, but being on campus and, I work in the bookstore. So I was always talking to at least one person who's in SGA, but it's never been presented to me as in, hey, we have these SGA meetings in the evening and this is what we do in these meetings. This is what we talk about. So maybe opening up as far as, you as a member, putting it out there a little bit more in casual conversation.
I think that is great. I'm really, if I do get elected, the student engagement is a big piece for me because once again, like you said, we don't interact enough. And honestly, it's the same thing with me. When I first joined the SGA, I came there and it was just like, ooh, I don't know what's going on, but it feels like they're gonna fight. But I want it to be open to where when students come, they be like, oh, I like this. Like, we have to come back next week, I wonder what they're gonna be talking about next week. Like, just excited to be a part of the organization that's expanding its reach. So student engagement is going to be one of my biggest piece. Whether it's around campus, social media, all avenues of approach, Those are the approach that me and Amanda will be taking in order to at least, I'm not going to say we're going to make a full 360, but we're going to try our best to at least improve the engagement part.
And we do have another question in the chat box. So how will you be sure to include the students who have field placement hours for work and families that cannot attend during the day? These students are more than likely to not be able to attend meetings during the day.
So for the students, I think for me right now, when it comes to the SGA meeting time, I felt like the morning time would have been more feasible. I was shooting for around lunchtime because it is on a Friday. But I will definitely do a survey and see what the students want. I'd rather go with what they want. And if they come up with a reasonable time, I am all for that, because I would love for everyone to be there, you know, and I don't want to make it just for one body. I want everyone to be there. So if I can do that, then yes. As far as what, Olivia, what will be your recommendations for times if students aren't able to come in the morning? So what would be your recommendation?
Yeah, because I was trying to think, like, for myself, like a lot of the other students I've talked to who want to be more involved in SGA, their number one issue is the 5 o'clock meeting times. You know, because like I said, like, it is a Friday, and I know I used to work a lot of afternoons before getting this job, and I feel like usually, like, during the day too, aren't kids, like, before now, like, they're normally like in school or at daycare already, you know? So that's why I kind of like the earlier meeting time, and not as long. I like how you said, like, not as long, because if you have a set amount of time from, like, okay, we're going from this time to this time, and I feel like you're able to get more accomplished that way, and you kind of cut out a lot of unnecessary mumbo jumbo. I don't know, for lack of a better word, I feel like mumbo jumbo is like the best part, because who really wants to sit for like 3 or 4 hours on a Friday afternoon, you know, without actually getting things accomplished?
Yeah, like
Tori
to
also,
do that.
I want to weigh in on that real quick. So that was actually a huge issue that we had this past year, and an idea I had pitched was earlier in the earlier meeting time, the 10 a.m. meetings. There was a little bit of pushback, but what we've looked at is the demographics, how the demographics are growing at the campus, and the representative demographics of the student body show that the fastest growing demographic is the more traditional age group. And rather than say, oh, well, if the traditional age group doesn't want to do Friday at 5, let's just push it to during the day, I kind of met everyone halfway and said, well, let's accommodate both. We'll have 2 meeting times. And so where that left us was the evening times where the votes happen, the morning times are just the student org. So if we don't move it to during the day, there's always the option of continuing the 2 meeting times, but probably move into a format where student orgs get a vote and it actually does represent the whole student body instead of a smaller faction. So there's ways to work around that no matter how you look at it.
But that's having these conversations, you know, and I think that's what's going to make the difference, like you said, having those open lines of communication. So.
And you mentioned the word open. The key is to be open to suggestions and not, this is how it's been, this is how it will always be. You know, if you're open to guidance, it'll go somewhere.
I will also suggest, if you are unable to make the morning meeting, and you know, even if you can webcam in, we can do that also, so that everyone can still be a part of it, you know. Like I said, for me, the meeting times were very hectic because we were going into the meetings for like 3-4 hours, which was unnecessary. But I would definitely cut it down to an hour. I'm more structured, so we'll have time frames, and you know, you won't be able to go over that time frame. So.
So you want to tell us a little bit about Rec? What you were talking on the chat?
sorry.
Do you want to tell us what you were talking about with Campus Rec?
Campus Rec, we plan our picnics around the same time that SGA meetings are actually happening. So so that we're providing food right there, literally with a wall between us and the meeting. So like all you have to do is walk out the door and there's already food there, and games and stuff like that. So if food has been a really big concern for those meetings, keep in mind that Campus Rec has always planned to place our picnics right beside the SGA meeting so that it's ready to go when you guys leave the meeting. Yeah, for games and food. So.
For the
Games
fun
and
Yeah.
I also think it would be really beneficial if you guys sent out like meeting minutes like after the meeting, like shortly after, have like a written summary of like the meeting, because that's what we did with Science Club for people who couldn't attend the meeting time that was most convenient for everyone. We had our secretary, who is Amanda. She would always take notes of the meetings, and she would send out like a summary of what happened over the meeting.
I'm going to tie in what you just said to something that's in the chat. The idea of having minutes after the meetings is not actually a new idea. It's just one that frankly didn't happen this year and desperately needs to happen. So we will have an AVP that takes care of that once we find someone to line up this past year. I mean, not this past year, this coming year, different time frame. And that a lot of that ties into what Olivia is asking in the chat, because I think some of that ties into Robert's rules. So not to answer a question for you, I'll let you actually talk about it, but I will answer the question by saying no, Robert's rules were not followed this past year, but if you want to talk about meeting structure, I'll let you cut me off.
The meeting structure that I'm probably going to try to implement would be something similar to what Hannah said. I definitely, the slides that we'll have once the meeting is over, I will still email those out to everyone. So, you know, you can go through the slides, look at what was said. We'll have somebody recording everything. Even if we have to have a video of the actual SGA being recorded so that we can send that out, we can do that also, you know, just so that everyone can be involved and know exactly what is going on in the SGA meeting. And it can be documented.
Oh, sure.
For some of those who are on here who don't know what Robert's rules are, can someone explain?
What was it?
For some folks that don't know what Robert's rules are, can someone explain? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm waiting for someone to jump in. I don't want to talk too much.
It's okay, Gary, you can cover it.
All right, Robert's Rules of Order is what many governments have used over time, including the U.S. government. It's one of the only things the U.S. government does efficiently, no matter who's in charge at any given time. And by efficiently, I'm using that term loosely. But basically, it makes sure that you start on time, everything is on record, everything is official, nothing violates the rules. Meetings don't go overtime. It maintains civility, and it also maintains control of the room. A lot of these things are topics that people have brought to our office's attention and to student organizations' attentions, saying organizations' attention, sorry, I cannot talk today. We have Robert's Rules so that people can enunciate well in their points, and I need that. But basically, it gives a leadership structure, and it helps make sure that nothing goes outside of guidelines, make sure that nothing happens without the consent of the whole.
Ambassador Williams, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you. I was going to ask, so you kind of covered it a little. What are your plans for the student body, and do you have an ETA for the implementation of these plans?
As of right now, since we're dealing with this virus, no, I don't have an ETA, but Amanda and I have been sitting down, creating plans or visions. Like I said, more camaraderie, and just hearing the students, because I feel like in SGA, we didn't really implement that as much as we should have. Like, we're here for the students. So I want to do suggestion boxes around campus. I think that would be cool. Any type of suggestion, you can drop it in a box and we'll check the box, weekly and bring those concerns up at SGA meetings. I think the org should do the same thing. Like, hey, what do you think could better equip us with helping the university? And I think we should also talk to staff, because they're working there too. So the staffs and teachers, I want everybody to be in tune, so that we can work together. So what do you think, Amanda?
So the ETA, yeah, it is kind of in the air right now because we are virtual, but yeah, like we said, just building campus morale, hearing the students' voice, like Davion said. So those I feel like are our main focuses at this point. And we're gonna do everything we can how to do it to make it happen.
Okay. So what qualifications do you bring to the student body for both of you?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm still learning how to work this. For me, a little bit about myself. I'm from the Bronx, New York. That's where I was raised. You'll hear my accent every now and then when I say talk or York. I've been in the military for the last 7 years. So I am a lot more structured, very straight to the point, very assertive. And I'm a go-getter for the most part. So, and I'm a visionary. So I love new ideas. I love to try new ideas. I love to do the ideas that people will be like, oh, we can't do that. I like to make it happen. So that's one of the biggest qualities I think I bring to the table. And once again, if I can't get it done, I will find a loophole or I will just let you know that I can't get it done. But I'm just excited. Like, I think that's the best way to put it. I'm really, really excited because there's so many things that I have in mind. There's so many things that I think will be great for the school, but of course I cannot do it on my own. I need the student body to support. So it's just more so excitement. Amanda?
You asked like what are our qualities
What qualifications do you bring to SGA?
or qualifications?
And qualities.
So I think me and Daviana match up pretty well when it comes to being structured and wanting things to keep moving. And if they do come to that, we're gonna try to get them moving again. Another thing I think for me is I like to listen. I like to listen to what people's concerns. I like to listen to people's suggestions. Like Daviana said, like we're open, like we're coming into this with a totally open mind, and any and all suggestions that we can get is good. It's actually really great, because that's what we want. We want to hear what the students have to say. So I think, yes, for me, structure and just being able to listen and use what I'm getting to make something happen.
I want to brag on Amanda and Daviana for a second. I guess it's because we all worked with Amanda, and Daviana's like always in the office. But even before like I got to really know these two, they were both such an open presence, which I think is something really great to have in a leader. It wasn't awkward when I first met either of them. We got right into the conversation. They're very both like she said, like willing to listen, very like positive spirits. Yeah, so like I said, I'm gonna brag on you two for a second because I think you guys are great.
I know that I see that Garrett has a question. How do you plan to lead the units, lead and unite the students if the fall semester is completely online? So obviously we have to do everything through webcam, but I'll probably try to throw a little twist in it, see how we can make it a little bit more, a lot more fun. It's probably going to be hectic, but if we have more web time like this and just sit and talk about new suggestions that we can do online, as time goes on, we're more structured to start doing things online, especially with the new generation that's coming in. So we'll probably come up with new creative ways to implement SGA in the fall if we're completely online, which I pray that we're not. But if we are, we'll try to work around that.
And with that, like social media, I think it's just gonna be the main aspect of this. Is reaching out, engaging the student body through social media. And if there's not social distancing, then, which I mean, I don't know that if the university is still closed, there will not be social distancing. I don't know. If there's not social distancing, we can actually congregate. So if that's a thing, then I think being able to get together would be awesome as well.
We have another question. How will you connect the university students and the community? Well, I speak to Amanda about this all the time because I always say we need to market. It's no way around it. We have to market. Believe it or not, a lot of soldiers on Fort Hood do not know this university even exists. A lot of people out in the community do not know this university exists. For ROTC, we go out, we do fundraisers and different strategies of that sort. So I think I would implement that a lot into the SGA, and being the SGA president, any org that has a function, I'll try my best to just go out there letting them know that we support. And then going out doing having different flyers and stuff of that sort around the community so they know they can come and visit. Maybe having a day out of the month where it's open to the public so they can come see the different organizations that we have for the school. I definitely want to have another, we have meetings on posts to meet with the soldiers so they know that, hey, Texas A&M is here. It's an upper level school. We're welcoming everyone, come try us out. And I think that would be really, really, really good. And even the high schools, I would say, so that they know that we have that presence there. Like, hey, there is a school here that's for you. Once you finish CTC, you're welcome to come here. Same thing with CTC. So just making the coordinations with those different avenues of approach, I think it will be great. And that's the best way I can come up with having everybody come together. And then having little family days so the families know that we support them also.
Yeah, at the same time, a lot of people have found out about our school's existence through such community events such as the Warrior Picnic or trunk or treat. So definitely a lot of events like those, a lot of people like to bring their whole family, and it's kind of like a bonding thing between us, the school, and the community.
Okay, I'm reading the question in my head, but I'm going to read it out loud. For organizations that have members who are not on campus all the time, how will you be sure to include them and make sure that they can still be an organization even if they do not meet the point system for the academic year? Well, when it comes to the point system, I think I'm going to be really strict with that because at the end of the day, we're all adults, and if you have a concern or have to move around that, you will definitely let the presidency know. Organizations that are not on campus all the time, I think I will more so meet with them. I will work around your schedule. Like if you're not able to come on campus but you still have these events going on, I am open to coming out. I am open. I will clear my schedule just so I can know what you have going on. What are the concerns? And I will probably like to implement like meetings with the SGA president and vice president. You know, if you couldn't make the meeting and you did have a concern and you wanted to meet with us to talk about that concern, then I think that's something that we're open to. Once again, we're coming in this organization with an open mind. All suggestions are welcome. No question is a stupid question. You get what I'm saying? So I am open to whatever. As long as it's moral and ethical, then yeah, I'm open to whatever. Did that answer your question, Olivia? Okay.
I had another question for you. So you talked about having barbecues and having a whole bunch of events and all, but one of the biggest things I've noticed is with the budget. There's been a lot of concerns about the budget and finance, and also, if I remember correctly, you also don't have a finance and planning AVP. So how do you plan on overcoming that?
For me, I've learned a lot of things being the vice president of the ROTC, and we do a lot of fundraising. And the fundraisings that we do are like fun fundraising. I think that SGA should implement a lot of fundraising, because we don't do it. We're pretty much just going off of money that we get from the school, and sometimes we are limited. But I think I would implement a lot of fundraising events and try to raise money. I will more than likely try to go out, get with the president, see if we can get more sponsors. It doesn't hurt, going to different functions that we don't normally go to. You can meet incredible people that are all for, our universities. So we need to broaden our aspect of just reaching out. The more we reach out, the wider we reach out, the more, I think the more we'll get back. So did that answer your question, William? Or no?
Oh yes, that's good to go. Thank you. And also, I have a lot.
No, you're fine.
I wanted it to be like CNN, so I'm gonna try.
I think you're a little better than that, sir.
So how will you hold yourself accountable, for the good consequences and the bad?
Honestly, I would want the students to hold me accountable, 100%. I don't want to hold myself accountable. I want you to hold me accountable for staying on point with what I say I'm going to do, and just keeping me in check. I think that would be great. I'm the type of person that's open to constructive criticism, because it makes me better. I like to hear like, hey, Prez, you messed up. This is what you should fix. That's something that I'm always open to. So I will hold myself accountable, but I would love for the student body to hold me accountable also, because that pushed more pressure on me, but it still helps me stay on a path that I know, okay, the student body president, the student body will hold me accountable. So I need to go ahead and get this squared away. Amanda?
I feel the same exact way. Holding myself accountable. It is what it is. If I mess up, like you said, for the good and bad consequences, I'm not going to so much praise on the good, consequences, but they are good, but I think more importantly is like the constructive criticism or any negative constructive, I guess, feedback is something that I would want to focus on, because that's where the problem is. So yeah, just holding myself accountable, saying, okay, you know what? I messed up, or I need to do it like this, instead of like this, being very vague right now, but just like you said, just holding myself accountable. And what Davey said is wanting the students to hold us accountable. I think that's a really big thing, and I think a good thing for the student body to know is don't be afraid to hold us accountable and say, hey, hello, so I agree with Daviana completely.
Okay. Also had another question for you. So earlier you were talking about how you're assertive, a go-getter, and you're a visionary. So regarding the campus garden, how do you plan on addressing that issue now? I mean, it's a big attraction for TMUCT, and oftentimes we don't have enough help to get it where it needs to be. So how do you plan on fixing it?
I have spoke to Garrett about this before I even decided to run for president. Yes, I agree with you. The campus garden is a big thing. For me, implementing for it to be maintained, I really want not to make it mandatory, but suggest that each org takes a month, and once a week you go check the garden and clean, so on and so forth, to keep the garden's presence up to par. I also wanted to have each org like plant a vegetable. They choose a vegetable, they plant the vegetable, and then we'll have like, once their vegetables grow in, see what they can create with that vegetable. And then like at one of the SGA meetings, have a little potluck, like, hey, this org grew zucchini and they made zucchini dip, if that's a thing. And then we'll go from there, just to make it fun, but also a competition, like, hey, our orgs always grow the best things, Did that answer your question?
Yes. Another one. I think this is going to be the last one for me anyway. So you talk about you seem pretty passionate about presidency, but do you believe the title presidency of SGA is more important than the labor? And even if you weren't to gain the seat, the office, would you still be as involved as you plan to be?
Yes. I really don't care for the title. Just like Amanda said, I love helping. If you haven't met me in person, and if you have met me in person, you'll know I'm a really like, okay, let's do it. That's fine. Let's go get it done. Like, I don't really complain. I'm really straight to it. Like, I really want to do this. So regardless of if I get presidency or not, I still think I will be involved. I'll still throw out ideas. I'll still be, a part of the team, because we won't function if we don't function together as a team. And there is no I in team. So I will definitely be all for whatever position, even if I'm not in SGA, but I'm a part of the student body. I'm still going to, have my voice heard, and have other student voice heard that, don't necessarily want to speak out in public. So, yeah.
Cool.
Amanda?
Don't care about the title. I'm here to make change, and I think you can make change even as just an active member if you're not in office at all. So yes, we will still have the enthusiasm and the drive to make our voices be heard, make the student body's voices be heard. And I think Yes. Yes.
We have a question in the chat, guys. It says, what have you done with the SGA in the past to be an active member?
Me personally, I've been attending the SGA meetings. Since I've joined, there hasn't been events. I was planning for events and I was super excited for those, but then this happened. I joined, when did I join? I joined, I believe, what is this month? April? I believe I joined in January.
Your application was turned in November.
Oh, November.
As for me, I've been to the blood drives. I joined in November. It was still hectic. I think SGA wasn't fully structured, I will say. So it was kind of like a shot in the dark. So whatever events they did have, like, I will at least show my face. And remember, I am also a part of the vice president for the ROTC. So if I can dabble in everything, I do. But more events, if they had more events, I can't solely speak for the fall semester. And of course, spring semester, we're pretty much quarantined. So, it's a work in progress, but I have been around the SGA. I have been to meetings, countless meetings, and yeah. So I know what it is like. That's why I'm so passionate about changing a few things. Or a lot of things. A few things.
I want to throw in there too, you also run the campus cupboard.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, I think that's a big thing too.
Yes. For those that do not know, I do run the campus cupboard. I'm the one that put it together, organized it. If you have been, I don't have the virus. I'm not sick.
I'm working on your mask, Daviana. Just have to stick your name on it.
I run the campus cupboard. I reorganized it. I try to get more media to have people at least know where the campus cupboard is and have it a little bit more discreet, because I did have some complaints in the past about how discreet it was or how people were approached when they wanted to use the campus cupboard. So yes, that's my baby. I have worked very, very hard, but there's still a lot of things that I have to improve on when it comes to the campus cupboard. But yes, I don't have the virus, I promise.
Wow. I definitely love the energy, as you mentioned before, that you have. I really haven't got to discuss like anybody else who's running. Then there's like one other person that I think is running, but yeah, you guys' energy is definitely great, and it's really nice to hear that even if you don't end up getting elected, that you're still going to be. And I know like that your guys' like word is good, that you would still be an active voice for students, and both of your personalities. You really like fight to get things done, no matter if you were like president, vice president, in an actual like Senate seat, like whatever. So it's really nice to know as a student that I have people looking out for me.
Thank you.
Oh, that's my computer. Sorry.
Any other questions? How would you continue to engage with campus community while classes are online? Okay, we spoke about this earlier, but we'll do a lot more webcams. Maybe we can do one, same thing for the SGA meetings, bi-weekly. Still take suggestions, still not go over the time frame. Everybody will have finger food. I got you. you know, or cook meals, whatever you want. It's going to be here on live. And just trying to still stay in contact, I think is the big thing. Because a lot of us are staying home, and sometimes it can be pretty depressing because you're home all day. But just staying engaged. Whenever you see a new face, like just seeing all of you guys, I'm like, hey, I'm excited. Feels like I have friends and stuff like that, you know. But that's the biggest way I think I will stay engaged. Having a lot of conferences, have students come in, ask their questions, their concerns, especially during this time.
I think attending each other's events is important too, you know, like if CPD's having something, which they are this afternoon, and everybody's excited for it, you know, they're always a great partner. And I think because you would be, you know, if you guys get elected, you would be the body that gets everybody. So, you know, make sure that we all hang out and we know of each other's events. So, because I like seeing your faces.
I really love that Amanda and I both just did the same thing at the same time. That made my heart really happy because I was like, oh, I'm being really dated right now.
We could play a game to tap us right too, right, Tori?
To end our Blue Coats with a positive note, well, it's a pretty positive the whole time, but yesterday was Motivation Monday. I want to know what motivates you guys, what keeps you guys going and moving forward.
For me, what motivates me is coming back to school. I love being home, but I love being home when you're not supposed to be home, not when you have to be home. So I think everybody feels the same. And just trying new things. Like, I really want to get involved. I really want to get to know everyone. I really want to, like, what do you do for a hobby? Like, you know, teach me something new. I'm like a sponge. I soak up everything. So if you can teach me something new, like, I get so excited. That's pretty much my motivation. And just to get through this whole pandemic healthy. And I want everybody and their families to be healthy. So I think that's the biggest motivation, but I really do miss school. I'm not gonna lie, I really do miss school. So that's my main motivation.
My biggest motivation.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No, you go.
Okay. My biggest motivation is family, blood or not. So of course, my family at home is a big motivation for me. They're super supportive of me, but they do tell me when I am slacking, which I need to hear personally. But like I said, and not blood. So my family here, y'all are always supportive, and like my blood family, y'all don't let me slide with nothing that y'all don't let me slide by with what's the word with mediocrity. And I love that because I can't be sliding by with mediocrity. But I think that's a big motivation for me, family, at home and at school.
Love it.
If Daviana's slacking, I can just fire her. So, you know, there's an extra layer of.
God.
Hey!
Wow.
If I tell her to quit right now, Garrett will have a conviction. Not gonna
But if you quit, I'll quit, and Paul quit, and everybody quits. So just.
Garrett, if you even think about firing her, we'll hire her.
I got
Nice.
another phone.
There's a whole list of people who want Chester.
There's a waiting list.
Yeah.
I cannot keep, I'm only for one. I have to stay with affairs. That's where I am.
Somebody's gonna get on Twitter and say, I was on that coffee thing with the blue coats, and this guy was firing Daviana. Like, no, you're a rock star.
Yeah, for me personally, I think the thing that motivates me the most is personal growth. So I feel like we as humans are always evolving into like not necessarily like always constantly better, but different versions of ourselves. And I think the biggest motivator for me in this life is finding all of those different versions of myself that like are coming in the future, and then also like helping the people around me like find that for themselves too, especially like hi Menza. Um like I think that's like one of the biggest things of like happiness is embracing yourself for all the different yous that you can be. So that's my thing.
I love your shirt, Menza.
We match.
Thanks. Look up. Y'all doing all right? Everybody doing okay?
Doing good.
How you doing, Mensa?
Good, good, good. I'm making it. Staying my distance.
Amen.
Shirt in the background. That's pretty cool too. Your hanging shirt. That's awesome.
Yeah, I had to change it. I saw the email. I went out saying your background should be office-like, so
Do you have any questions for our candidates, our executive candidates, Daviana and Amanda?
or what y'all doing?
Hi, I'm Daviana Phillips, and I am currently running for the SGA president.
Okay. All right, SGA, go get it.
Her side as her vice president.
All right, Vice President. And what are you doing? Oh, Hannah.
I'm just here. I'm a blue coat. I was like,
Colorful blue coat.
SGA?
well, I attend because I'm still the president of Science Club.
Okay. All right. So who else is running against you?
The no option.
Oh, okay.
No competition.
Okay.
He's gonna win by default.
Playing.
Congratulations.
Just make sure you vote though, because we want everybody to vote. We want everybody's opinion, heard, and because this is by students for students. So
Yes, it is your civic duty.
Exercise your civic responsibilities.
exactly.
I shall
Vote.
vote.
Ooh, Angie, I
Hashtag.
like the shades. Those looking
I
nice.
wish we had I voted stickers so that
They're
people
all
could
mute.
publicly shame each other on social media.
When and how does that happen?
Sorry.
What?
When and how does the voting happen?
Okay.
Unengaged.
Okay,
Sorry.
you want to take that, Gary?
No, actually, you make the pitch. You're campaigning.
The voting is on the 27th and 28th of this month. It's in Engage. I did go in Engage and I just looked up voting and it popped up. So, but you're not going to be able to vote until the 27th and 28th, and then we'll go from there. So for me, I will probably try to do another Coffee with the Blue Coats prior, like a day or two prior to that, or whichever one they're doing that week. And we'll voice it again so that everyone can know.
You're always
If I'm not familiar with Engage and I have never done anything with student body or the student government association or anything, where do I find that platform, and do I need any special log on or anything for that?
gonna make you a presenter, Garrett?
Any student who's enrolled can access Engage. And basically, if you just go to Warrior Web and search for Engage, it'll take you right to it.
I think it would also be super helpful if you guys made like a video tutorial.
Yeah, we're thinking about making a PowerPoint.
Sharing my screen now? What?
Oh, who's sharing their screen? Oh my God.
Somebody made me share my screen. But I wasn't like playing computer games or arguing with somebody.
There wasn't anything weird happening.
Yeah.
Want to show them how to access Engage? real
Yep.
quick?
Woo!
Blue coats. I saw it.
Wait, now y'all are in my window. Okay, here we go. Okay, sign in. No, you can search for it here. I have it just bookmarked at the top, but if you just search for Engage, it's first thing that pops up. And then it'll make you sign in probably in the top right corner, but yeah, you'll go there and she said you just search for voting and it should work. Oh, hello.
Carrie, your computer hates you.
Right there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Wow. Oh, there's the times too for somebody who's asking.
And if you forget, I'll be glad to show you again.
And for the votings, there was two different options there. A student, the SGA voting, and then something else directly under it. It doesn't make a difference.
I think it takes you to the same place.
Okay.
The second one said campaigning, so it said late March to like before voting. So I think the second one, the one that he didn't click, was the campaigning one, and then the other one is the voting link.
Okay. Thank
Would
you
it
very
be
much.
possible to share?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I was just going to ask, would it be possible for our student affairs offices to share direct links to that Engage page
Should be able to.
with our student employees and also like on social media so people can go directly to it without having to worry about which one do I click on?
Yeah, you should be able to do that.
And it's gonna be all day, right, on the 27th and the 28th? Because Angelica asked, what time?
It should be all day and then cut off at, I already closed the window, but I'll let you know what time it cuts off.
Do they just vote using their student email address?
No, so you got to go to you've got to log into Engage to do it. However, at any concern of voter fraud, it is programmed to where it is one vote per Engage account, and you only get one Engage account per your student info. And it is set to where you have to be a currently enrolled student. So you don't have to worry about past students, alumni coming back and voting or anything like that. And you don't have to worry about stuffing the ballot box. It's specifically programmed to prevent anybody from interfering.
Do graduating seniors get to vote?
I heard 3 people at once.
Sorry. Do graduating seniors get to vote?
Yes. And I believe graduate students can vote too.
Carla, I saw you sneeze.
Coronavirus.
Everything is not a symptom. I've had allergies like on and off like through this entire thing, and it makes me paranoid, but I'm like, I know it's allergies. Like,
We have a bush right outside my office window here, and a bunch of bees made their home there. I've been sneezing a lot.
oh, the way I've been gassing up, I have like a cloth now, and that's how I hold like the.
I actually, my husband and I, we divided and conquered this weekend. We had to go to the stores and get some stuff and like restock. So we won't have to go out again for some time. And so he like went to these stores and I went to those stores, and I needed to get gas because I hadn't driven my car for like 3 weeks or something. And I completely forgot that I was almost out of gas because it was like, no big deal, I'm not going anywhere. And so I had taken disinfectant wipes with me, and I like wiped the whole thing down before I would even touch it to fill up my car. And then there was a guy like eyeballing me like at the other pump, and I was like, I have an extra one. He was like, yeah.
I did the same thing the last time I went to the ATM. I had my bottle of Lysol wipes under my arm. I can't risk it, y'all. Can't do it.
All right, anybody have any closing statements?
I just want to do maybe like a quick rundown of the week's events, maybe, because I know I have like 3 things.
Do it.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if anyone else wanted to go first. Okay, so this week I uploaded a cooking with the Bluecoats video, like Kirsten and Amanda did. It's up on the YouTube if you want to see. I made $4 chocolate croissants, 8 of them for $4. In comparison to like one for $4 that you could get from Starbucks, but I'm just saying it's up. It's like a vlog. It's kind of cute. And then Wednesday, Jeremy from Campus Rec asked me if I could do another game, so like 2 games a week. So I'm playing Scribble.io Wednesday at 2. I wrote it down. Yes, 2. Scribble.io at 2 on the Campus Rec Discord. And then on Friday, we're going to do a little more complex game. And my vice president from Science Club is going to help me run that. It's gonna be crazy fun. We're gonna go crazy. And also Thursday I have a science club meeting, so if anyone wants to attend that, feel free. It's gonna be on Zoom, or not Zoom, it's gonna be on this probably. And yeah, we're just gonna catch up with everyone. So that's what I have going on for the week. Anyone else?
What time is your science meeting on Thursday?
It's gonna be at noon.
At noon?
And the Friday game is at noon as well.
Yes.
We'll post all that on Facebook, right?
Yes.
You can post about your science meeting too on Facebook if you like. That way we can just market it to everybody.
All right.
Everybody knows. Amanda, this or that Thursdays, and then the Wednesday polls.
Wednesday polls tomorrow at 12. Yes, at 12. They'll be posted on our Bluecoats page at Your Bluecoats, and then this or that Thursday again at 12. We haven't decided the theme this week, but we will. Last week was Marvel edition, and we got pretty good feedback. We really did. So yes, those 2 will be live Wednesday and Thursday at 12.
I want to talk about the Motivation Monday, even though it's already technically passed, but you guys can tune in for next week or go see the past 2. I just kind of talk about like Monday motivation. It's pretty simple. That I ask questions on our Instagram. So if you want to go and answer those motivational questions, I think the one from yesterday is still up. It will probably be up until around 2 o'clock. So if you want to go and be featured on our Instagram story, go answer our question.
And Savannah, Wednesday, or I'm sorry.
You go for it.
No, Savannah's got something going on Wednesday, right?
Thursday.
Oh, I'm sorry, Thursday.
I'll be doing another scavenger hunt. It'll probably be up on Facebook around noon. And I think we talked about leaving it up for 24 hours this week instead of just the whole day so more people could participate in it.
You can
so yeah, check that out on Facebook.
So speaking of finding stuff online and events and all that, a question I meant to ask earlier, Daviana and Amanda, do you have campaign pages on Facebook or Instagram or anything that people can follow at this time? Or is that something that people will be able to find y'all and follow?
As of this moment, we do not have campaign pages. Not that I necessarily think it would be a waste. We're just trying to reach out more so individually to all the presidents of the orgs and have it structured down. But we will be speaking about creating some Facebook pages because we definitely did take professional pictures for our campaign. So we will be at least trying to create a Facebook page and an Instagram. So
Cool beans.
And CPD has some events this week we'd love to talk about really quickly. Angelica?
Yes, so if you guys want to learn how to use Handshake, we've got a live webinar. Brandy and I will be running that at 2 o'clock today. So please come check it out and learn about those job, internship, and volunteer opportunities.
Will you guys be recording that session and putting it up somewhere?
Yes, we'll have it recorded and posted on our YouTube channel.
It will also be linked in Canvas. So if you are part of our Canvas community, which all students should be, if you don't see us when you log into Canvas, let me know. We'll make sure that you get connected. We're linking to our YouTube through Canvas as well.
Also tomorrow, Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, we are having a live web chat with Jody Morgan. She's a Texas A&M Central Texas alumni, but she's also works for Workforce Texas, and she has lots of good information for jobs and also resources for people who may be affected by COVID-19. It's going to be a really good information session. So tomorrow at 10 and today at 2.
Nice.
Great. All right. Anybody else?
Good job, everybody.
Okay, cool. Yay! Another great virtual coffee. Love you guys so much. Okay.
Okay. This one was super informational. You guys have a great day.
Yeah, you guys too. We will see you guys next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, all.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Why is it still recording? Stop recording.